our syllabus, that's energy balance. So up to here, we have discussed all other topics, and the last one which we discussed was related to material balance and material balance on reactive system as well as non-reactive systems. So in this topic in energy balance, by the way, this is chapter 9 of your textbook. And I think most of the stuff which we will be following in this energy balance content, that will be from your textbook. So in this initially overall outline of, I think this will be covered in maybe 2 or 3 lectures. So that includes energy balance, general introduction to the energy balance, and basic terminologies. There are terminologies are divided into 2 categories here. Some terminologies we have already discussed when we studied material balance. Most of those things will be still applied here while you will be solving energy balance problems, while some terminologies are new which are specifically related to energy balance. So we will quickly go through them today, inshallah. Then there are different types of energy. You already are aware about this, that like there is kinetic energy, potential energy, then internal energy, or suppose we say sound energy, or many others. So here we have to discuss few which we will be using in these energy balance problems. Then there is general equation of energy balance. As you guys studied already material balance, so initially you were introduced with the material balance, with the system, sounding, closed, batch, continuous. There were various terminologies, and then I introduced you with the energy balance, material balance equation. So same will be applied here. When you will you will read initially the basic terminology so that you are well aware about energy balance. Then we will start with the equation, general equation, all terminologies which are involved in that equation, when those terminologies will be considered, when you don't have to consider, all those cases will be discussed. And then at the end of this week, hopefully we will be able to solve some problem related to energy balance on closed systems. I think we have to cover open, closed system, steady state and unsteady state. So first one will be solved at the end of this week, inshallah, by like in the last lecture, and then few things will be left which will be covered in next week. So overall, here are the outline of energy balance which you have to cover. Actually, this is as per the chapter 9 of your textbook. So initially we have to define number of terminologies, and when you go through these, maybe you can see almost half of these you already know based on material balance, and some are new we will cover. I'm not going to read all of these as we have to study these today, so they will all will be covered in these lectures. Then we have to study that when you know what is system and what is closed or open system. So when you guys are solving the problem, you should be able to select your system, either closed, open system, steady, unsteady state, and then you have to also fix the boundary of system and use that to solve the problem. Also, you studied this very well in the first start of the semester before midterm, that how you have to convert the different units. So overall, that maybe will be quickly repeated here, but mostly things you already know. Maybe it will be covered in 1 or 2 slides, that how to convert from one unit to the other units of energy. Because many times there will be problem, they will give you the data in one kind of the units, and then they ask you to report your data in like any other unit. So you already know, you can easily do that. A general balance equation and various terms that involve like equation, major equation, which will help you to solve the problems. And then there is you have to, for example, simplify the general balance equation for a particular problem. For example, if you remember from material balance, so when there was a reaction, some terms were considered, but when there was reaction were not involved, those some terms were not considered in that equation. So can you tell me which terms were not considered in material balance equation when there was no reaction?
Accumulation 0 थी.
No, I'm talking about reaction system. I'm not talking about. Yeah, good. Generation and yes, generation and consumption were not considered when you say that there is no reaction, and the student who said the accumulation is 0, that's in case of steady or unsteady state.
Steady state.
Yeah, in case of steady state accumulation is 0, then we say that there is no change in the volume or amount of the system. Good. So similarly, when you look at the energy balance equation and later apply it to various cases, you will be introduced with this, that when which term will be neglected. And then at the end, definitely have to solve the problems to which will involve like energy balance on open system, closed system, and then steady state and unsteady state. One thing, one difference from the things which you have already covered for material balance. If you remember, we studied material balance involving both reactive system and non-reactive system, and we solved the problem which involve only one equipment most of the time. Here is but almost in most of the cases, I think there are 1-2 problem in your textbook which involve maybe more than one equipment, but other are all single equipment problems. So we are supposed to solve the single equipment problem in material balance, but both like material which involve reaction and some which didn't involve reaction. So both were covered. But when you will study energy balance, all this stuff which we will be talking about is without reactions. With reaction, that's the part of like next course, which is continuation of this stoichiometry 2. So that will be covered there, like all those systems which involve reaction when you have to apply material balance, how and energy balance, how energy balance will be different. That is not part of this course. That's the initial terminology that I told you, that there are many terminologies you already know, you have studied. Maybe there will be very few in these table which you are not aware, or we will talk about that. So first of all, do you remember what was called system boundary? Just don't read from here. If you can anyone tell me what was system boundary?
जो सिस्टम को सराउंडिंग से डिफरेंस करे,
जो सिस्टम
Good,
को
yes.
सराउंडिंग से अलग कर दे.
Good, yes. This boundary or system boundary, an imaginary line you can consider which just separate your system from the surrounding. So here he mentioned as a surface that separated. This already studied. So here, as he said, it is maybe sometime real or sometime imaginary surface, either rigid or movable. Mean you can just consider it. For example, if you have more than one equipment in your system, you can put the boundary around one system and later, or sorry, around one piece of equipment. Later you are applying on the other, so you will just shift your now boundary to the other and so on. So it's mean like if there are more than one equipment and we are applying balance on only one of those equipment, that is like we just cover it with the dotted line and we say that this is our system on which we are going to solve the we're going to apply some balance. Later on, as he said, movable, it's mean you can just now consider another equipment, because this is just imaginary line in which you have to consider that this is my system. Anything which is entering to this system is coming from the surrounding, or anything leaving from this system is considered as anything going out of system, and that's entering to the surrounding. So then there is term, actually here they are not in that sequence as we studied that, otherwise here should be something system. He has given it with some other sequence, but okay, still it's fine. Closed system, I think you can easily tell me this. Do you remember what was closed system?
No inflow जिसमें होती है एक दफा.
Yeah, there is no flow. No flow mean when you studied material balance, because at that time you guys studied this definition, no flow of material, that's mean no mass balance, no mass exchange. There is no change in the mass or exchange in the mass between system and the surrounding. As he mentioned here, didn't interchange any mass with the surrounding. But please remember, they are also called, by the way, non-flow system. But from this you can also get the idea that it is non-flow system. It means there is no flow of any material. But here, as he mentioned, please remember now that closed system can still exchange heat and work. We will study this in detail later on when you move forward in the this energy balance chapter. So but at the moment, just remember that closed system is that system which didn't interchange any material with the surrounding. For example, at that time you guys considered there was one vessel, and for example it contained 1000 kg of water, but that is closed, so its 1000 kg will be maintained here. That's the closed system. Then there is something called equilibrium. Do you know what does equilibrium mean? Equilibrium is any condition where, for example, where you consider that system properties remain same, they didn't change. We can consider here, for example, we fill 1000 kg of water in the vessel, and then we are not withdrawing the water. For example, we close that system, so that's at equilibrium. This is one thing. Other thing is, for example, you fill 1000 kg of water in the vessel, and later on what you do, you just bring some amount of water. For example, water is coming to this vessel at 10 kg per hour, and at the same time it is leaving at 10 kg per hour flow rate. So will there be any change in the amount of water inside
No,
vessel?
sir.
No. Yes, that remains same. So that's mean now this is at equilibrium stage. And if you remember, there was something called steady state, if you remember. So that's the same thing here. Like when system amount, for example, any value which is of system, any property that is not changing. Property is anything which we can measure or calculate. So here we are talking about the mass. So if its mass remains same, that's at equilibrium. At the same time, for example, if you consider there is a specific temperature, for example, you heat something up to some specific temperature. For example, I say I take the water in beaker. It was initially at 20 degrees C. I start raising the temperature, and finally temperature reached to 60 degrees C. When temperature reached to 60 degrees C, now what I do, I apply such a mechanism that I am heating the beaker, at the same time I am removing the heat from that system. By any means, I can just install a coil around surrounding, and from that coil, for example, if cooling water is moving, so what will happen, that water will absorb the heat from that beaker. At the same time, I'm also heating the beaker from the bottom. For example, I adjust it in such a way that all the heat after 60 degrees C, which is added to the water, is removed at the same rate from the water. So in that case, overall there will be no change in temperature of water. So that's, we call it like it's at thermal equilibrium. And similarly, you can also consider many other, for example, here he said chemical equilibrium, thermal, mechanical. So but just remember, equilibrium is a state where there is no change in property, just simple. And then there is this thing which we call extensive property and intensive. Did we read this, or do you know what does this mean? Did we read these two earlier? Can you tell me, please?
No, sir.
No? Okay. Uh, okay, if it's something new for you, just remember. Properties, any property of the material, sometimes that depend on the amount of material, and there are some other properties which do not depend on the amount of material. First of all, let me talk about intensive. Intensive, just guys, remember this, intensive is something which is independent of amount of material. You can remember this, they usually confuse the student. Intensive is somehow related to something independent. Intensive is independent property, or property which is not dependent on amount of material. Its example is, for example, you guys have a water in a large tank, and that is available at, for example, 50 degrees C. I'm telling you, there is water in a large tank, and that is available at 50 degrees C. Now, for example, if I measure the temperature of whole tank, and that gives me the value of 50 degrees C, and if I collect small amount of water, just for example, that tank has a tap, I just open the tap and collect the water in a beaker, and I measure the temperature. That will also be the same. For example, if I am taking 1 kg of water or 1000 kg of water, if it is from the same tank and it is measured at the same time, its temperature remains same. That is independent of the amount of material. Other is, for example, density, as he mentioned here. Just look, for example, you have a water and that's available at same temperature. Either it is like 1000 kg or 1 kg. Its density, does it remain same or change? The condition is here that remains at the same temperature, because you guys know that when you will change the temperature, density changes. So due to this, I'm saying all other condition, keeping them same, this property is not dependent on amount of material. That's called intensive properties. So here you will see a lot of properties. Some are independent of the mass, some are like dependent on the mass. Other extensive, extensive is anything which is dependent on the amount of material. Amount mean mass of material. For example, as he said, mass, definitely mass. For example, we take the water 1 kg, so that's some amount. Now if I say I increase that amount to the large value, for example, to the 5 kg, it's mean now its mass is changing because I'm increasing the amount. So that amount is dependent on this value. But if you guys take this 1 kg of water or 5 kg and measure the density, in both cases, density will remain same. So for example, volume of the water. If I take only small amount of water, that will occupy small volume, but if I just take 1000 kg of water, that will occupy more volume. So that's the property which is dependent on the amount of material, that is named as extensive properties. So intensive properties, independent of mass, extensive properties are those properties which are dependent on the mass. Clear to you guys?
Yes, sir.
Good, right. What is open system? Open system.
So जिसमें
Already
flow
you guys-
continuous नहीं होता.
Yes, that can exchange the mass with the surrounding. Closed system were those systems which didn't exchange the mass with the surrounding, but remember they can exchange heat and work. But these open systems, those which even exchange mass with the surrounding, as well as they can exchange heat and work with the surrounding. So they are also named as flow systems. So when you guys study this material balance, just go to those lectures kindly and just look at those initial lectures of like this. I think that was first and second lecture when we started online classes. So in those, all these are defined in very good detail. So what was phase and state? I think you remember. First of all, state. State, do you remember the definition? I mean, it is called condition of a system as it is specified by the temperature, pressure, compositions. Condition of a system. For example, when you guys said that this is something is liquid, so water, for example, will exist in the liquid form at some given temperature and pressure. Because you guys know that when we keep on changing the temperature, pressure, it's this state can change. Sometime it can go to the solid or liquid. So we discussed this already when you were here. I think state and phase. So state is an condition of a system as specified by different properties. At that time we studied that as specified by different properties, and major of those two properties they are temperature and pressure, and sometimes also composition here. So then there is a phase. There are also 3 phases, and phase was something which is physically distinct, physically different, and its microscopic properties are homogeneous. That was named as a phase. So there were 3 phases, solid, liquid, and gas at the same time. So that's called phase. Phase is any part of the system that is physically distinct and has overall homogeneous properties. So for example, we studied or discussed this in detail at that time in the lecture in the classroom here, that you have a one beaker, and in that beaker you fill mercury and water in the form of for example in liquid state. So overall mercury is a liquid in the liquid state and water is in liquid state, and when you fill them in a beaker there will be 2 different layers. Why?
Chemical properties.
Sir, because of different densities.
Yeah, due to different density, definitely they will just get separated. And now this, just look at the words which you are using, they have different density. So it's mean any property of those is different, and that we are talking about here is, for example, density. So whenever any one property is different, definitely that is making them 2 different phases. Overall they are in same state, they are liquid, but they are in 2 different phases. So we discussed at that time different mean cases. So hopefully you remember. I just go to those lectures and please just revise that stuff. So property was anything which you can observe, for example, or calculate. Observe means you can measure it directly or you can calculate it with the help of other main characteristics or properties. So that's named as property. Any measurable or calculatable characteristic of a system is called property. So here a few examples are given. You can look at the various others. So then there was something steady state. I think you remember very easily steady state and unsteady state. Steady state, when we say there is a steady state,
Input is equal to output.
Sir, input is equal to output.
yeah, when there is input is equal to output, there is no change in the amount of material system. That's called steady state. So in that case, mostly you guys can remember that we said that in those system accumulation will be 0, as one of the students told in the start lecture. So more generally, as you are saying, yes, input is equal to output. It means when there is input is equal to output, overall mass of the system remains constant, and unsteady state is that system in which input and output are not equal. So there will be some accumulation in the system, or accumulation in term positive as well as negative, because for example, input is in higher rate as compared to output. So in that case, level in the system will start increasing. For example, there is a tank and in this inlet is at 100 kg and outlet is 90 kg. So in that case, what will happen? Level of tank will start rising. And in the other case, for example, you are entering something at 90 kg and withdrawing at 100 kg. So it is definitely possible only when there was already some water in the system. So 90 is entering and you are withdrawing 100. So in this case, you are decreasing the level of system. So that's also we consider as a, because change in the system volume is taking place, we consider as accumulation in negative terms. So because output is higher. Then there was these two terms already you remember, system and surrounding. So system is anything which is under study, and surrounding everything outside that system boundary, that is called surrounding. So up to here, I think maybe only except extensive and intensive properties, all of these terminologies you are already well aware, they are discussed earlier. So, but there are few other terminologies maybe you know from some earlier classes, but they were not discussed in this course. So let's look at that. First of all, adiabatic system. Can you guys tell me what does this term mean? Adiabatic.
No heat changes takes
इसमें heat
places.
constant.
जिसमें हर चीज constant है.
Okay, when any system doesn't exchange heat with the surrounding, that system is named as adiabatic. So when system will not exchange the heat with the surrounding, for example, you guys take a beaker or a vessel, for example, and fill water in that, and we say we keep it at somewhere and there is no exchange of heat. Is it possible, by the way, that any system will not exchange heat with the surrounding?
No, sir.
But if you guys remember, you studied something which was called insulator. So if you insulate something,
Yes, sir.
in any vessel, any beaker, so in that case it is possible somehow we can say that this system is adiabatic. So here in chemical engineering, you will be studying many systems where we just consider this, that the system is adiabatic, but at the moment maybe you can say definitely 100% we can't make something insulator. Not we can't make it 100%, but we can go close to that, and we will be considering in many of the cases that there is no exchange of the heat. Maybe you will study many problems here, they will say that this is adiabatic. Maybe in reality that's not, but you can consider that. So just remember, whenever you use the term adiabatic, that's mean there is no exchange of the heat with the surrounding. For example, I give you the water and that's available at for example 80 degrees C, and I ask you to keep it at the same temperature, because you know that when heat is exchanged with the surrounding, either temperature will be raised or will decrease. For example, we start heating it up. Heating means we are adding the heat in the system. So as well, if we place it somewhere where temperature in the surrounding is less than that 80, so it's mean heat will be lost from this beaker. So in both these cases, system is not adiabatic, which I am telling. But if, for example, I take this water and place it in such a material that there is no exchange of heat with the surrounding, so that will be considered as adiabatic system. So with this adiabatic system, there is a terminology which is mentioned at third, fourth point, that is isothermal. So do you know what does isothermal mean? Isothermal. Iso is used for same, yes, same temperature, and thermal is related to temperature. Good. So iso, same, thermal is related to temperature. So isothermal is that system in which temperature remains same. Temperature did not change. So that's I'm linking with adiabatic because that's only possible most of the time when you just insulate your system. You are not exchanging the heat, because you know when you are exchanging the heat with the surrounding, either in form of like giving to the surrounding or taking heat from the surrounding, temperature will change, but temperature remains same whenever you just make it like there is no exchange of heat with the surrounding. So isothermal is anything which is at same temperature. Okay, isobaric. Do you know what does this terminology mean?
Sir, same pressure.
Same pressure.
Yes, good. ISO, remember please here the word ISO means same. ISO is used for same. So isothermal, thermal is now something related to temperature. So isothermal was anything which is at same temperature. Isobaric, do you remember there was one unit of the pressure which was called bar?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, good.
Yes, sir.
So isobaric means bar remains same. You can just consider it something like this. Then it's mean this is the condition at which pressure remains same for any system. For example, you take the gas in any of the cylinder and that is available at let's say 100 bar. And if we didn't withdraw any gas from this system or we don't add any other gas in the system, its pressure will remain same, that is at 100 bar. So that system is called isobaric, which remains at same pressure. And the last term which is mentioned here related to these, that's called isochoric. Isochoric is anything which is at or which contain or which
Constant
have
volume.
same volume. Here, yes, constant volume. Iso means same, constant. So that's the system for which volume is not variant, volume remains same, volume remains constant. So that is named as isochoric. Please remember all these four definitions, because in many of the problem he just used the term. For example, he will say this is adiabatic. So whenever it is written only adiabatic, you guys have to remember that Q, amount of heat transferred with the or exchange with the surrounding, and the system is zero. इसी तरह similarly like isothermal where temperature remains same, isobaric where pressure remains same, and isochoric where volume remains same. Understand? So next here we have two other terminologies, path variable and state variable. I will just define these quickly here, but because I have explained them later on in next few slides, so in detail, overall just remember from here, because it was already in the table, I have just brought it from there. So path, as its name indicate, any variable which is dependent on the path. Please remember, just definition, don't get confused with all this stuff. I will explain you in detail this. So path variable, any variable which is dependent on the path. Path means, for example, but let me explain it later, not example here. And state variable is any variable that only depends on the state of the system. For example, there is state 1 and state 2. State 1, state. Now, do you remember the definition of state? State was anything, just look, condition of a system. It's mean, for example, there is any temperature and pressure. I say, okay, I have a gas that is available in a cylinder, and that is at for example, 25 degrees C and 50 bar pressure. Later on, I change the temperature to the 100 degrees C and also increase pressure from 50 to 100 bar. So now these are two different states. Initially 25 degree C and 50 bar is one state, other state is like 100 degree C and 100 bar. So any property which will only depend on initial and final state, that is called state variable. Any other, that is called path variable, that will depend on the path. We will look at that. So isobaric are this isothermal, isochoric, as already told you that they are just short names for saying no temperature change. Isothermal, temperature remains same, no temperature change. Isobaric, no pressure change, so like pressure remains same. And isochoric, like no volume change when volume remains same. In any system, when such conditions are mentioned, it means its properties are invariant, not changing. For example, anywhere it is mentioned that this is isothermal and it means its temperature is not changing, this property is not changing. Isobaric, it means pressure is not changing or volume is not changing. So as we said already, adiabatic system are those systems in which no heat transfer occurs between the system and surrounding, so cross the boundary. So just to give you the idea that when system will be adiabatic, as I already explained to you initially, that when it can be adiabatic whenever the system is insulated. Like you insulate your system, you take such material that which didn't allow any exchange of heat with the surrounding, or you can say its thermal conductivity is very low. In that case, the system is insulated. By the way, do you guys remember or do you know what are insulators? How heat
Yes,
exchange
sir.
with the surrounding takes place?
He could do not conduct heat.
Yes, due to conductivity. So any material which has very low conductivity, or we can say negligible conductivity, so in that case heat will not be exchanged with the surrounding. So simply insulator are actually those material which has negligible conductivity, so they don't allow the heat to pass through the system to the surrounding. So this is the one case when you can consider the system is adiabatic if system is insulated. Other, we will be actually considering later on some terminology we call Q. Q is amount of heat exchange or amount of heat. So if this Q is very small in relation to the other terms of energy balance equation, later on when you will look at the energy balance equation, there will be some term called Q. Q is actually amount of heat. So if this amount is very small, for example, we have there any other terminologies which have, let's say 100 joule, and this Q has value of only 1 or 2 joules. So as compared to that, this is very small, because overall at the system there will be no much difference if I take this difference between 100 and 1 or this 2 only small value. So in that case you can consider that your system is adiabatic. The third one, for example, your process takes place so fast that there is no time for heat to be transferred to the surrounding. In chemical engineering, we study a lot of such systems in which the process takes place so quickly that we say that there is no exchange of heat with the surrounding. So do you remember, I think I taught you one thing that was called wet bulb temperature, and at that time we discussed this, that there is no exchange of heat with the surrounding. Does anyone remember? Wet bulb temperature.
Yes,
सर वो याद है.
Sorry, Hasib, can you repeat? Yes, okay, you remember, fine. So at that time, if you guys remember, I told you that this is called adiabatic system, and adiabatic, I told you that this didn't exchange heat with the surrounding. And from where those water molecule were taking heat, can anyone tell me? Because in wet bulb we say that water is evaporated. Yes, system. And what was system there?
Bulb of thermometer.
Yes, only that bulb and the cotton or fabric which you are considering, that is called your system, and anything else was considered as surrounding. So when water was evaporating from this system to the surrounding, we said that water molecule which want to evaporate, they just take heat from the system, not from the surrounding. So that was considered as adiabatic, and at the end when I defined that, you remember that we said that is adiabatic temperature. So adiabatic, something which didn't exchange heat with the surrounding. So at that time I already told you that that's taking place fastly, that didn't exchange heat with the surrounding. So this point is related to that stuff. So overall, from here, just to summarize, adiabatic you will be considering actually in three cases. First of all, somewhere you are solving the problem and he said this is insulated. So whenever he said insulated, it means Q is 0. There is no exchange of heat with the surrounding and system. Then the other case, that value is very small, you calculated, and you can like ignore that value of Q, that there is no exchange of the heat. And anything else where he said that this process takes place so fast that there is no exchange of heat with the surrounding, so that will also be considered as adiabatic. So these are three cases which you can come across. So let's look at those state and path variables in detail. So state was anything, condition of a system. Already we just discussed few minutes back again, like state defines, or state is defined based on the conditions of the system, such as the value of temperature and pressure. We say, for example, our system is a water. We have water in one beaker and is available at 1 atmospheric and 25 degrees C. So what will be the state of this system? Water is available at.
Sir, can you repeat the question?
Water is available. You take water in a beaker, and that is available at 1 atmospheric pressure and 25 degrees C. I'm asking about state of this system.
180 and 25 degrees C.
So liquid.
And water.
So liquid.
Hello. Either it is solid, liquid, or gas.
So liquid होगा room temperature.
Guys, are you around?
Yes, sir.
Yes, this is liquid simply. So
Yes, sir.
I actually, when I give you the temperature and pressure and I tell you that what is the component, so you can because I'm giving the example of water because you guys very well remember that what are its like melting and boiling points, and what are its state, either when it becomes solid, when it becomes liquid, and when it becomes gas. So if there is any other system, I told you that in literature we have temperature pressures for all of the components in your surrounding. So you can look at the literature and can define or can tell what is its state. Okay, so here the example which I'm giving you is that is water in liquid state. So for example, as already I said, that state or point variable are those functions which depend only on the state of a system and not upon its previous history, or you can say on the path. State variable are those variables which depend only on the state. For example, here you can take this one example of one passenger, and he or she travels from like Lahore to the Islamabad. And there are, that there are various main options to travel from Lahore to Islamabad. For example, we say that that person is moving in a car, so they can adopt either motorway or GT road. So at the end of the day, for example, someone traveled from Lahore to Islamabad and he or she has reached. So you guys say that person is away from Lahore and now he or she is in Islamabad. So we say that most of the time, that the distance are defined between the cities. Do you know like how away Islamabad is from Lahore?
350
We
kilometers.
just can
So
consider here, for example,
300 to
okay,
400 kilometers.
Okay.
400
Okay,
kilometers.
so I can just give it some random number. For example, maybe not exact, 400 kilometers. So now when we say that someone traveled from Lahore to Islamabad, we will be considering here that he or she is like 400 kilometers away from us. Do you agree with this?
Yes.
By any
Yes, sir.
path, any mean either that person took motorway, that person took GT road, or for example, that person took like rail to travel from Lahore to Islamabad, train. So in any case, you will just say that that person is like now in Islamabad and he or she is like 400 kilometer away from us. So that's called state variable. Here we are not concerned about that either they took motorway or GT road, because you know that they are different. The distance is different from these two paths, and maybe if you travel from the train, that path will maybe also be different. That's the different distance. We are not concerned about the distance. We are just saying that that person is now in Islamabad. So we will just consider that that person is like 400 kilometer away from us. That's the example of state variable. Here he mentioned that in energy balance, in internal energy is a state function. We will talk about internal energy later, and I will link here. Just ignore this line at the moment. Another is path variable. Path variable, as we said, that path variable is that variable which depends on the path which you are following. For example, in this case, which I give you, that one passenger traveled from Lahore to Islamabad. Now, definitely, we just consider, for example, here for simplicity, that passenger traveled by his or her own car. So now, when someone is traveling by car, if they adopt the motorway or GT road, so in both paths, distance is different. And when distance is different, fuel consumption will be different or same.
Different.
So
Yeah,
different.
fuel consumption will be different. Good. So fuel consumption, because why this is different? Because it is depending on the path. If for example, we ask that person, we call them and we ask them, okay, how much fuel was consumed by you, or what was the price for example of the fuel consumed by you. So if that person traveled by motorway, that person will tell different thing. If someone traveled by GT road, that will tell you different price. There will be definitely some difference between the both fuel consumptions and their price. So that's fuel consumption is now such variable which depends on the path. Clear?
Yes, sir.
So any question for this one? State or path variable. So for example, here again he said heat and work are those which depend on the path. So later when you gain some more knowledge later on, you will be able to link it that how heat or work are dependent on the path. Okay, so just up to here, remember that state variable will be any variable which will only depend on the final value, final stage, and other, for example, that depends on the main path, that is considered as path variable. So let's look at that. For example, when we have a cyclic path, cyclic mean you are moving in a cycle. Like for example, in a circle, you can consider that you started from somewhere, and if you come back to the same point, as he mentioned here, like for a cyclic path, change in state variable is 0. Just look, someone was here in the Lahore. He or she traveled to the Islamabad. Now he or she came back to us in the Lahore. So now distance, how much he or she is away from us. For example, that person is
0.
again with you at the same point, so that means 0. Good, yes. So for cyclic path, for example, when you take the state variable and you come back to the same point, in that case change in that variable is considered 0. So now change in its distance, that is 0. As compared to this, for example, if you look at that person traveled to the Islamabad and came back. So, and if we say what about the fuel consumption, will it be 0? No.
No,
Why?
0 नहीं
Because
होगी.
that
No,
is
sir.
depending on the path. We will consider that it consumed, for example, 100 liter, for example, just in the one way, and then this person came back, so another 100 liters. Overall, now it has become 200. It is not 0 in that case. So that's like in cyclic path how they change. For example, here you can see in this diagram that there is any change in the properties of system, and in the graph, this main graph, you can see there is a pressure and temperature. Pressure is on x-axis, and on y-axis there is a pressure, and there is a change in its system. For example, our state of this system from point 1. Can you locate point 1? Here it is, and another there is a point 2. So can you tell me how many paths are there to reach from point 1 to point 2?
So 2 paths.
2 path.
You guys are looking at 2, but I can see 3 paths.
सर वो तो फिर ट्रायंगल बना हुआ जिसमें B और वो बना हुआ.
हाँ, just look, yes. If you say like there is a path A directly from point 1 to point 2, I can take this path. I think there is no harm in that. So you can just take this path that you directly reach from 1 to 2. That is path A. Another path B is there. So in path B, you can see that initially, actually here you guys can consider, for example, there is a temperature of here 25, and there is a pressure of, for example, 2 bar. We can just take few numbers here, because he mentioned only pressure and temperature. He didn't mention number. So here is a 25 degrees C and 2 bar. And if I raise this temperature to, for example, we say that here it reached to the 100 degrees C, and on the other end here there is a 10 bar. So look, guys, here you are just directly changing the temperature and pressure. If you are following path A, do you agree with this? That we are changing temperature and pressure at the same time. If you just compare it with the path B, in path B there are that is divided into 2 halves. So the 2 halves, how they are, like for example, initially when you move, you were thinking to move from point 1 to point 2. So initially at point 1 there is a temperature of 25 degrees C and 2 bar. I just increase the pressure of this system, keeping the temperature same. Is it so? Can you see that initially temperature remains 25 degrees C and you are just increasing the pressure? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
When you reach it to this point, for example, you can give it any random name point. For example, this is C point, or I think I can say, for example, point 3. So from this, now at this point, when you reach to this point, you took the gas, for example, that was available in any container. It was at 25 degrees C, and you increase only pressure of that gas by keeping the temperature same. How we keep it is not your concern at the moment. So at the moment you can say, okay, temperature remains same, but we are just increasing the pressure. So when pressure reached to 10 bar, which was our concern, our final value, after this we don't increase pressure. Now we just heat it up to reach to the point 2 and to increase its temperature up to 100 degrees C. So in both of these cases, I'm not discussing the C path, which is like quite zigzag, and it is a lot of changes are there in the system of both temperature and pressure with the passage of time. So we just ignored that process. For example, that is C path. So if you just look at both this A and B, now if anything which is dependent on this path, that will be considered as path variable, and anything which is not dependent on the path, which will be considered as state variable. That will ask us, okay, tell me only the mean condition of state 1, which was 2 bar and 25 degrees C, and state 2, and I will do quick calculation for you. That will be that variable which will not depend on the path. But if there is, for example, in last slide he mentioned there is an internal energy, that is only state variable. So whenever you will be calculating internal energy, you will ask, okay, sir, just only tell us the condition, that first state and second state, and that's it. That's enough for us, because you can do the calculation. On the other hand, if you are going to calculate the amount of heat or work, that is dependent on the path. That will depend that how you moved. Either you moved directly along the A path or you moved along the B path. Its calculation will be different in that case. So that's why, because that is dependent on the path which you take to reach to the second stage. That is not only dependent on the final value, that is dependent on whole path, how it was done or what path you took, how you increase this temperature and pressure. Either initially you kept temperature as a constant and only raised the pressure, or you change both at a time. This is like in the case of work and heat. Okay. Guys, are you awake?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
okay, that's fine.
जी सर जी.
So clear to you?
नहीं सर.
Hasib, there is any question?
सर लास्ट में जो आपने समझाया था वो समझ नहीं आया.
आप कुछ खाना पीना बंद करो ना, फिर समझ आएगा.
Yes, sir.
आप रोटी की तरफ तवज्जो ना दो, लेक्चर की तरफ तवज्जो दो. Okay,
लेक्चर की तरफ ही.
Look, what I'm telling here is just look. I said there are 3 paths in this example, but I'm taking only 2 paths, A and B. And I think I have mentioned here the temperature pressure values, random number. You can see that initially this is 0.1 where temperature is 25 degrees C and pressure is 2 bar. Clear?
Yes sir.
In the second state, what is temperature and pressure? Can you tell me?
Sir, 10 or 100.
Yes, 10 and 100. So these are first state and second state. Now I ask you that, for example, later on, you guys make some calculations and I ask you to calculate internal energy. So we just studied in last slide. I'm not going in its detail. Just I told you at that time that internal energy is state variable. State variable means it only depends on first and second state. It's condition. State, when you say state, because we just defined that state is anything defined based on the conditions. So if you are calculating internal energy, you will say, okay, just tell me only the conditions. What are conditions at the first stage and the second stage, and that's it. I can do the calculation because I'm not concerned either you took path A or path B. I have no concern about it because that is only dependent on initial and final value of this temperature and pressure. So that's, we call it like state variable. Other, I was telling you, for example, if you look at this heat, actually I don't want to go in those details, but okay, let me tell you now. Look guys, when you are following path B, in this path B, we are increasing the pressure of a gas. Do you know that when you will increase the pressure, what will be the effect on temperature?
Sir,
keeping the volume
temperature
same.
increase hoga.
Yes, temperature
Decrease
will
hoga.
increase, but temperature will mean like here will start increasing with this. So when you are increasing the pressure, temperature automatically will increase. But you see here I am keeping the temperature constant at 25 degrees C. So how I will be keeping this temperature constant?
पोटेंशियल सेम रखना पड़ेगा.
Expansion से sir.
No. Look, I said volume remains constant. Initially, I said maybe you didn't listen. Just you have to keep the volume constant. There is a one cylinder. Its volume remains same. There was initially gas in this system which was available at 25 degrees C and 2 bar. Now I started filling other amount of gas in that. Overall volume of cylinder remains same. I'm not changing that. So in this case, I'm asking you that temperature remains same, only pressure is increasing. So can I keep this temperature same? Okay, let me tell you, you guys don't know. So here I can just apply some coolant around that, that vessel, that cylinder, so that all amount of heat which is generated or temperature which raised is removed. So what I'm doing here, removing the heat from that system by applying some coolant. So is it possible?
Yes sir.
Yes, it is possible. You guys can, for example, for simplicity, you can think that I can dip that cylinder in a like pool where there is a cooling water in its surrounding. So all the heat which is generated is just removed from that cylinder. And finally, we reach to some value that is like this 10. So look at that. Now what we did here at the end, for example, okay, later on we reach to the 10 psi or 10 bar, and after that we keep pressure constant and just raise its temperature by heating. So in all this case, whenever I ask you, for example, you calculate the amount of heat. So will you be looking at only final and first stage? No. The reason is because heat is dependent on the path Q. It will depend on the path. Why? Because in this path initially when we were raising its pressure from 2 to 10 bar, and we kept the temperature constant. And how we kept that? Because at this time we have removed the some amount of heat from the system. Later on, maybe we are also doing same, or maybe we are providing the heat to this system to raise its temperature. So in all those cases, which will depend on the path, you will be concerned about this, that how along the whole path changes took place. In the other way, for example, if you look at the path A, in this case, whenever you are increasing the pressure, do you see there is an increase in temperature? Can you observe that? In the path A, when I am increasing the pressure, you can look very carefully that there is a yes raise in the temperature. So in that case, the calculation will be different as compared to the calculation which I am making for path B. So this is the thing which I was going to tell you, that path variable are those variable which ask us that what path was taken and how those changes took place. Because if we ignore those conditions, definitely there will be some mistake, because here in this case, in a case of B path, I have told you that when you kept the temperature constant, you were removing the heat during all this process initially. When you are moving along this line of 25 degrees C. So whenever you are making calculation, you have to take you have to consider all these steps in consideration, that they are accommodated. You take those values in your calculation. So that's the meaning of this path variable. Clear now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that's it. I think we will stop here. So next is actually the forms of energy, overall kinetic energy, potential energy, internal energy. Here I've discussed, and then there is the equation for solid material balance. So tomorrow we will start from here. I will advise you guys, although these are many things which already you know, but please quickly revise them before you come for next lecture. I will upload
Inshallah,
this
sir.
lecture. This is still not uploaded, so I will do that.
सर ये एनर्जी बैलेंस जो है मटेरियल बैलेंस से ज़्यादा इंटरेस्टिंग है.